A lot of things were done not for the benefit of the band, not for the longevity of the band.
The rumor is you tried to trademark the Trixter name, and I'm not trying to, but I'll just throw it out
Where do
there
the
and let you.
rumors come from? 3 days later, John Bon Jovi called Pete. The record company wanted to lie a little bit about our ages and make us younger than we actually were. Firehouse, Trixter, and Warrant, we were like this, and we ripped this country a freaking new one. It was the greatest time in the world. To go out on stage that night and say we had the #1 video on MTV, it was a moment, and it was like wow, and things really were starting to happen.
Is it true that when Surrender is on Dial MTV, that's when Dial MTV gets taken off the air?
And it was January '95. We show up to the first gig, and the place was closed and didn't tell us. There were two ideologies in the band, and Pete was the one that was a little fed up, I believe. But I was right behind him.
Okay.
I have a problem jerking off. That's why I always try to have someone else do it. I got Pete on speed dial, by the way. What do you say I foot the bill and let's get his marketing efforts on top? Let's really push this sucker. And those guys said, what do you want to do that for? I hate talking about it. It brings me down. Now I need another drink. Look what you're doing to me. Well, one of our phrases here at American Premium Vodka is it's Veterans Day every day. Yeah. You know, or every day is Veterans Day. And we don't forget how great it is to be American. It was fucking the best thing in the world, bro. But yeah, think about it now. It's like, wow, I'm so fucking lucky.
The hair metal guru from Warren to Crew. The hair metal guru. Never forget Charlie too.
Hey, I am so excited to welcome Mark Gus Scott to the show, and for the rest of the show, I'm just going to call him Gus. I think that's okay, right? Okay.
Yeah, God bless you, Anthony. How you doing, baby?
I'm doing great. Gus, the former drummer of the band Trixter, he's released some cool solo music, and he's the president of American Premium Vodka. Gus Scott, welcome to the show.
Anthony, God bless you, my friend. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Hey, I'm doing great, and
Dude, it's 5 o'clock somewhere. Where's your goddamn drink? We can't fucking conduct an interview like this. This is all cut, do it over.
You know what? If this was back in the 90s, I would have been drinking the shit out of some stuff, but
I guess I'm stuck there, man. I don't know.
I hear you. And so hey, so I wanted to acknowledge this before we even get into it. So I'm an Iraq vet. I was in Iraq in 03 and 04.
Oh, I didn't realize. God, hey, thank you for your service, brother. Thank you.
Thank you. And I was in Kosovo in 2009, 10. And I know I've watched some of your interviews. You're just a huge supporter of the military and veterans. You're a member of the American Legion. So I just wanted to say that straight up. Thank you for all your support.
The honor is mine. No. You know what, dude? It's the kind of thing, even in starting American Premium Vodka, we serve those who have served. And it's the very least that I can do. You know what I mean? You guys are the ones that put in the real hard work. And the appreciation that I have, I don't know if people know this, I've been a member of Bugles Across America for about 40 years now.
Okay.
No, about 45 years.
Okay.
And playing taps at funeral for fallen service people and whatnot, playing on Veterans Day, 9/11, Memorial Day, things of that nature. And when I was younger and I did it, I didn't really understand the significance of it. Yeah. And as I got older, I did. And it's become something I love to do, and I will not take payment for it. I love to do it every day.
Okay, thank you, and that's just so cool.
No, I never want thanks. It's my honor to do it because I thank you. That's really how it works.
So I texted Pete Lauren before I came on here, and I said, "Hey, I'm interviewing Gus in about an hour." So he texted me this back, and I don't know what it means. So I'm just gonna repeat what he said. He said, "Pete says, how do you know that you're an '80s man?" He said that you'll get it.
I think he means 80 millimeters.
Okay, I don't know. You just said, "How do you know that you're an '80s man?" I don't know what that means, but
he's been. You know, I texted him before too. I told him to go fuck himself.
Okay.
No, Pete and I are very close, and that's why I say things like that. You know, and even now, he's like, now next time he does an interview, he'll bust my balls.
Right.
I won't ever say about it. That's really how it goes.
Right. So I want to talk about American Premium Vodka. I want to talk about the ship, but I've talked to Steve Brown. I've talked to Pete Lauren, and you're next. But I would like your perspective, because everybody looks at shit differently, on the Trixter experience. So where were you at musically before you ever hooked up with those guys?
It's funny. My mother was very musically oriented. She went to music in our high school, the high school that's in the movie Fame or the TV show.
Oh yeah.
And yeah, she grew up in New York, and she started me off on piano.
Okay.
And when I was a little guy, my grandmother bought me this big parade drum, and I beat the crap out of it. And I put on Elvis Presley and the Grease soundtrack, and that's what I started to play to. And the first real rock record I had was Meatloaf, "Bad Out of Hell." Well, I mean, Elvis Golden Hits was the first one. Then
Sure.
the Grease soundtrack. That's all I knew how to rock and roll
Sure.
until I heard Meatloaf, "Bad Out of Hell."
Right.
I had that parade drum. I beat the crap out of it. I put a hole in the fucking thing. I said, "Oh!" I just flipped it over and started beating the other side.
Right. Okay.
But then, all kidding aside, around 7, 8 years old, my mother got me classical piano lessons. And she said, if you're going to learn music, you're going to learn the right way.
Yeah.
Now, she may be right. And she is right. But when you're 8 freaking years old, that's not really what you want to hear. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But now looking back, I'm like, well, fuck, if she started when I was 22 or something, yeah, I would have totally embraced that idea,
Right.
you know?
Right.
But at 8, I'm like, oh, fuck, Mary had a little lamb. But I was a better piano player back then when I was like 11, 12 than I am now. I mean, I really had full facility. I could sight read treble and bass clef. You know, that's really something. And I guess when you're young and you're exposed to that, you really suck it up. But today, I'm not half the player I was back then. But it did, in fact, give me a musical foundation. Then I went to trumpet. And I could blast through that stuff, and I did very well with that. I was an all-state player in New Jersey, jazz ensemble, all-state band, all-state wind ensemble, orchestra, things like that. So I was a hot shot on the horn, and that's why I started doing that veteran stuff.
Yeah.
They wanted the better player to do that at the parades and things like that.
Sure.
So I was the guy with the tone, and so I started doing it, and I've been doing it again like 45 years, something like a long time.
I worked military funeral honors for a few years. I was the guy who would fold the flag and hand it. I mean, it's just an overwhelmingly emotional experience doing those
awesome
things. So yeah.
Brother, I know it.
You put out this, you were talking about how you were playing piano, and you put out this solo song with you, and I asked, was that you playing piano on that song?
Yeah, 100%. Funny thing, I played everything on the track. You'll hear strings, you'll hear French horns, you'll hear things like that. That's all me. And I sang on the damn thing.
Yeah.
I had one buddy, Lou Picadacci. He helped produce it along with Pete Lauren. He helped produce the music. And Pete played electric guitar on it.
Okay.
I hate the electric guitar. I probably could have pulled it off, but I said, screw this, Pete. Can you freaking put this thing on? And there's just a couple of spots with electric guitar.
Sure.
Most noticeably in the beginning, there's a reverse electric guitar that crescendos into the track. It's like, wow. Yeah. And Pete did a great job. He just knocked it out. Great tone. Real nice work. I have a problem. Drummers hold their hands like this.
Yeah.
Guitar players hold their hands like this. I have a problem doing this.
Okay.
I have a problem jerking off. That's why I always try to have someone else do it. I got Pete on speed dial, by the way.
I was like, I'm the interviewer. Do I dare make a jerk?
It's very, very nice. Very nice.
Do I dare make a jerk off joke? And then you took care of it for me.
Please,
So.
by all means. What are we here for?
Okay. All right. And
come again? I didn't hear it. Come again?
Preferably not alone. Okay.
And
I'm not trying to blow.
Hang on a second.
Yeah. I'm not trying to blow smoke, but that's a legitimate battle.
I don't know who you're trying to blow, pal. All right, but get back to the interview. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, this is. I've seen some of your other interviews. I knew you were, and I love it. Fucking A. Go.
It's all scripted. I wrote it all out. Yeah.
But I legitimately, that's a good song. I'm not just saying that. I wouldn't have brought it up if I didn't like it.
I didn't think I was going to sing it. I wanted someone else to do it because I wanted it to sound good. And then I did a test track, and my buddy Lou Picadacci says, Gus, you sound pretty good. Just freaking do it. I was like, okay, so I did, you know. I must say, most part of the background vocals on that track, we knocked out. We sound like Striper on those backgrounds, dude. I'm telling you. you look in the middle of the song, there's an a cappella section.
Yeah.
I can't tell you. And I got a lot of that as far as recording from doing orchestral stuff on the horns and things like that.
Right.
And that's really where I think we got to hone in on it and really make it sound great. But Luke Picadacci helped. Pete Lauren helped. I couldn't have done it alone. That's for sure.
Okay. That's knowing, I mean, looking at your personality, somebody wouldn't, I mean, you wouldn't guess that you were like this trained, classically trained musician, you know, all this shit. So
I went to, a lot of people don't know. I went to the University of Hartford, Hart School of Music, when I was in sophomore, junior, and senior in high school. During the summer sessions, I got into an early acceptance program at the Hart School of Music. And I got to train with the college staff on a college level. We recorded 2 double albums of music every summer with an orchestra, bunch of kids from all over the country that were talented in music. You know, it's pretty wild. It was really cool. And it was an honor to be part of that. And also just the level of musicianship that you operate on after playing with a caliber of individual like that. It's like, holy shit, we sounded, I'm not trying to pat myself up. I'm just telling you, all these fucking kids, we sounded fucking great. Not like, oh, they sounded really, we fucking sounded great, but we learned from the best. And when we fucked up, we got whacked hard. And that brought you to a new level. And playing with that level of musicianship was an invaluable experience. Really something special.
Sure. So how does the Trixter thing happen for you? Did you know those guys before you heard about the band, or how do you end up joining the band?
I had to pay them, those motherfuckers. Let me tell you something. No. You know what's really funny? Pete lived here. I lived here. Steve lived here. All within 1 square mile of town. I swear to God. It sounds like a bullshit story. That's the reality of it. Right. Pete was down on one side of Spring Valley Road. I was at the midpoint, and Steve was Spring Valley Road further down. Crazy. Freaking crazy. We all went to Paramus High School. Yeah. We all dated the same girls. I don't get the intricacies, but, you know, for real, we were friends. I knew Steve. I'm trying to think how old I was. 11. Said, hey, I play electric guitar, man. I'm like, this little fucking guy, get the fuck out of here. You know, I'm like, come, how much? Well, Mary had a little lamb, so I can't fuck. He goes, come on over, I'll show you. I'm like, oh, shit. I'm going to blow an afternoon and listen to this fucking kid play the guitar. Like, all right, let's go. So I go back over there. He had this steep staircase up to his bedroom. And he goes up and he's using all 4 limbs to go up the stairs. Like, like, the fucking, how is this kid possibly going to fucking play electric guitar? So he whips out this fucking Stratocaster looking kind of thing he got at Sears or something, you know, plugs it into this little PV amp, and he fucking ripped my fucking head off. Yeah. I think he was 11 maybe 12 years old at the time. I could not fucking believe it. I couldn't his hand was going so fast, it was blurring. And I was like, and I was somewhat shunned. I went to a private school when I was young. I thought rock and roll was Elvis Golden Hits, the Grease soundtrack, and Meatloaf. He's ripping out fucking Kiss and Van Halen. I'm like, what the fuck is going on right now, you know?
How old were you at that time?
I was 2 years older than Steve. So if you were 12, I was like 14.
Yeah.
So I'm telling you, we go back that far, you know? And that was the first time I realized he played guitar. Yeah. And I had to get over the fact that I thought he was going to play me Mary Had a Little Lamb, and he kicked my ass, you know?
Right.
So it was an amazing experience that I saw anybody play on that level of musicianship, let alone that freaking youngin' doing it. He was kicking 25-year-olds' asses. Yeah. You know, it was like, I'm not exaggerating. He literally fucking played that good, you know?
Pete said the same thing. And Steve said that he formed Trixter at 12. That's the same age that you're saying you realize this.
He was in the band at the time was called Raid, R-A-D-E.
Okay.
And it was Pete, Steve, another bass player, a couple doors down from Steve, and then another drummer that was I don't know, a half mile back, quarter mile away.
Yeah.
And I One day I'm riding my skateboard. I'm going to get to the local music store to get a new drum head or something.
Yeah.
And I hear this rumble in a garage. I'm like, the fuck's going on in here? And I hear this guitar. I'm like, I know what that sounds like. Sounds like that fucking Steve Brown. I go to the music store. I get my bullshit. I come back. I still hear the fucking music. I'm like, mother. So I sat out there for a few minutes. All of a sudden, the fucking garage door opens. I knew it, you motherfucker. I knew it. And it was Steve and the guys. And I'm like, oh, fuck, you sound great, papa. He goes, yeah, we're playing in middle school, man. I said, dude, you need a lighting guy? He goes, yeah, you could do the lights, dude. So I was the lighting guy for the first fucking show.
No shit.
That drummer his name was Mike Payne. He played one show. He's good, nice guy, but he wanted to go to college. Yeah. So he quit the band, and that came the audition time. And I was first online. There was this one other guy. We battled it out, but I guess I got luckier. I paid the right guy, so I got it.
Okay. All right. So what you get in the band, you guys are really fucking young. When do you start going out and playing shows? And like, can you kind of tell me about building the name in your perspective?
The first show we did, I'm trying to think of the year. I'm think 85. I'm a little foggy on the year. I was 16 when I joined the band, so I think that was 84. We played our first show when I just turned 17 because I drove to the gig and unloaded my drums. It was behind the Paramus Public Library in New Jersey. They had a band shell.
Yeah.
And we had this other group called Harlot. They were our mentors. The singer was Ray Gillen from Badlands before he was in Badlands.
Right.
And all the guys in Harlot mentored us. So Ray Gillen would help Pete sing. Ross, the guitar player, would help Steve play. Yeah. The drummer was George Pagonis, who was my teacher, and the bass player with my group. Mike was our bass player, Dougie C. at the time. Yeah. He was his mentor. So we were the protege of those guys, and they helped get us our lighting, our sound. We were little kids. We didn't know what the fuck to do. Guys will take care of you need this guy, this guy, this guy, and the town paid for everything because they were putting on the show. We put on the show for the town of Paramus.
Yeah.
We had 300-something people there our first show. We were the hit of Paramus. Freaking fantastic. We knocked it out of the park, man. It was great. We had full lighting rigs, ACLs, freaking big sound. We rocked it. They said they heard us in River Edge, New Jersey. It was great.
and all of a sudden, you're getting all sorts of attention at school from the ladies after that?
Right. Yeah, we did that sort of thing, too. Shortly thereafter, we played Paramus Roller Rink. But most importantly, we made a demo tape. Yeah. There was a guy in Paramus, New Jersey named John Chrissy. He was in a rival band from Harlot called Messiah. And he was real good, and he had a studio in his basement. And this is before Pro Tools today and all that kind of thing. So he really, but we did this demo. It sounded pretty goddamn good. But from day one, even no matter how young we were, we approached it like a pro rock band. We not just made a demo, we made an album cover, we made cassettes, we sold the damn thing, we made a product out of it. And here's the best part. We did it in graphics class in high school and got a grade for it. I mean, we were still in freaking high school, man. I joined the band, I was 16, so I'm 17. It was like the end of my junior year where we played our first show in the summer of 85, I believe it was. 86, we made the demo. That was the year I graduated. So we did it. That was like a graphics arts homework assignment, and if we made extra copies, that was extra credit.
I was going to say, Pete tells the story about giving, I don't know if that's the demo, because I think you did a couple demos, about getting the demo to John Bon Jovi. And I thought he said you were with him.
I was. I'm trying. We're going back. I don't remember which demo was which, but yes, I believe that demo was part of it. I think so. Pete saved me a little face in the story that I most recently heard him tell, but I was the mouth in the band, believe it or not. Oh, no. Okay. So he says, Gus, here's the package. John's going to come out. You got to give it to John. Make sure you get it to him, man. I said, no problem, dude. I got this. So John comes out and he looks at me. I look at him like, hey, how you doing? And he walks right by. Pete goes, what the fuck did you do? You fucking give him the goddamn package. I'm like, fuck, I fucking fucked up. So Pete goes, get in that fucking package. He runs downstairs. He gets up. Hey, John, so Pete made the connection. But it was very funny. I normally didn't get starstruck, but for some reason, I was like, hey, how you doing? And he just walked by, and I was like, oh, fuck.
Okay.
It's very funny. And Pete does his tail. I guess he's trying to like be nice to me instead of saying, "Oh, Gus, that prick." You know.
Right.
But that's what happened. So Pete made the connection, gave it to him. I had the magazine with this big article. We won Battle of the Bands and blah blah, and that's when we started to get notoriety, and we got the big articles and all that shit. And he says, dude, you didn't give him the article. Get the article. I ran down there. I made up for it. Just as John got into the limo, I started knocking on the window, and I show him the article. Down goes the window. Out comes a hand, grabs it out of my hand. Boom, the limo takes off.
Okay.
Girls were slamming their bodies on the fucking car. It was fucking out of control. It was great. But 3 days later, John Bon Jovi called Pete. And it was pretty cool. Yeah, and he wanted to be kept in the loop. He gave Pete the McGee Entertainment's address in New York. And he said, listen, whatever else you got, bring it over here, send it to me. And we were like, wow, holy shit, this is it. It was really cool. And every once in a while, I don't know, maybe once every 3 weeks, me and Pete would get all dressed up and we get a new package together and bring it over to McGee Entertainment.
Right.
Oh, is John here? It was never fucking there. He didn't live at the office, And even if he was there, they weren't gonna fucking tell us,
Right.
Oh, I'm sorry, guys. We just brought a package for him. Yeah, we're gonna be dropping it off. Yeah. So we drop off the package, go downstairs, and there'd be a guy in a souvlaki cart downstairs. We have a little souvlaki all dressed up on the corner of fucking New York City, Central Park South, and we're like, yeah, one day we're gonna fucking be it, man.
Have you seen? I'm assuming. Did you see Pete's video? He has the cassette. He put out the video. Anyway, that's pretty fucking epic that he still has.
And he still has the voice recording of John Bon Jovi leaving the message on his voicemail.
Yes.
And then after that, we became friendly. We snuck backstage at John's shows. Then we come see show. John came to see us play a couple times because we opened for Scorpions and Kiss, both of which were managed by Doc McGee, John's manager. So he came by a couple of our shows. One night, oh God, this was great. We were in Miami opening for Kiss, and John came down. He comes hanging out in the fucking dressing room. We're having a couple of beers. He goes, hey, I got this guy across town. He's got an album release party. Guy's name is Billy Falcon. Oh, he produced Billy Falcon's record. Says, guys, I got a limo downstairs. Why don't you come on by? Oh, John got a limo over here. Oh, hey, you know what? Well, come on, then we'll see you there in a little bit. What do you say about that? All right? How fucking cool is that? How fucking cool is that? Hey, Johnny, il numero padre fine spirito santo. Amen. God bless you. Let me tell you something. You hear these stories about these big rock stars. They want, I want 25% of everything you do. Do you know he never asked for a goddamn thing?
Right.
He was nothing but the coolest fucking guy to us, man. I got to tell you what. So a lot of love for John Bon.
Thank
you, John.
And I'm a Bon Jovi fan. I'm not, but if you've heard the stories about Skid Row, like didn't the publishing?
I know. I heard things about, I don't want to say names, but I heard things about numerous people. Let me tell you something. He never wanted a goddamn thing for us but a little bit of love.
Okay.
He came to our shows. He paid me great compliments. He sent a fucking limousine to fucking go to a party. And he didn't send us a bill. Right. Or if he did, we lost it. I don't fucking know. Right. He was nothing but the nicest fucking guy. He was so nice to me. Sure. And we hung out. He used to bum Hall's mentholyptus off me, that son of a bitch. He was great. Right. Super nice fella. Nice fella. I swear to God.
Okay. We brought up Skid Row, and before they were even signed, and obviously before you guys were signed, you were playing with Skid Row, and I think you were playing with Kicks all on the East Coast. Do you remember, what can you tell me about, some of those bands that you played with? Did they accept you, even though you guys were kind of looked at as kids?
It's funny. Skid Row at the top. Well, I guess some of the guys were a lot older. We know what the great equalizer is? When you can draw.
Yeah.
And Trixter in the tri-state area, New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut, we could fucking draw. Right. So, they could laugh and, oh, you're a little late. Blah, blah, blah. When we packed the fucking house,
yeah,
you know what I mean? There's some credibility that goes along with that. And not to mention, when we played, people sang the songs. They were rocking. They weren't just standing there having a cigarette. You know what I mean? Yeah. It was pretty cool. We really started to build a movement.
Yeah. And
I had a movement.
And I don't want to keep going back to what.
I apologize. I just had to.
Fuck.
Anyway, but we became friendly with those guys.
Yeah.
Snake and Scotty worked at a music store in was it Tom's River, or it was South Jersey. We were North Jersey, Bergen County. They were like Ocean Township or something like that down south. It's like a different country down there.
Yeah.
But they were cool. So they're like, come on down, come hang out. We just play fucking guitars all day when nobody comes in the store. Like, okay. So me and Steve would go down, and Steve would jam with those guys. And they were really cool.
Yeah.
Scotty Hill was the nicest freaking guy in the world.
Yeah.
And we played with them before Sebastian was in the band. There was a guy, was it Matt Fallon? I think it was Matt Fallon was the guy's name. Mm-hmm. Real nice guy, good singer, but I don't know what actually transpired that he was no longer in the band, but Sebastian entered, and they did basically get to another level when Sebastian entered, that's for sure. And then we started doing shows with Sebastian. And after we met John Bon Jovi, I think John said something to the Skid Row guys. Hey, Skid Row just got signed to Atlantic. And John said, like, hey, you guys are doing well now. When you play in the tri-state area, have Trixter open for you guys, And we were like, that was pretty fucking cool. So it was on this one night that Skids were playing in Staten Island at a place called the Park Villa, on stage, Staten Island, and we were opening. And it was Rob Affuso's roommate, Ken Mako, who came and saw us that came to see Skid Row and saw us open. He goes, holy shit, I love this band. Comes up to us after the show, says, hey, come here. I was here to see Skids, but I saw you. You guys sound fucking good. We need to talk. We're like, okay, And he presented us with this deal. It was Ken Mako and Joel Weinshanker. They forged Shark Entertainment. Ken Mako, Shark, that kind of thing.
Okay.
Joel Weinshanker, we'll get to him in a little bit. You give him a Google. They had this deal they wanted to present to us. They loved what we did. They loved the music. They loved the energy, blah, blah, blah. They had a deal. They said, hey, we got all this cash. We're going to pull those when you need demo. We're going to make demos. You need drumsticks, get guitar, get a guitar. You need brakes on your car. We're going to get brakes on your car. If we don't have you signed to a major label deal in 12 months or less, you don't owe us a penny. We were like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
And now you think that once we have the deal, they're going to take 75%. No, it was a very fair deal, which is unfucking heard of. It's like, okay, where are we going to get screwed? Let me tell you something. You hear these stories, Billy Joel, this one, that one, everybody got ripped off by their manager. We're one of the few bands in the whole fucking industry that didn't get ripped off by our manager. It's impossible. Nobody has a story like that.
Yeah.
Nobody. It's too good to be true.
Right.
There it is. But it's weird. How fucking cool is that, man?
Yeah.
And now they worked a lot with the guys at Q Prime, Peter Mensch, Q Prime Entertainment. For people that don't know, they managed Def Leppard, Metallica, Queensryche, Tesla, Motley Crue. Okay.
Yeah.
So we had a strong end. They were our lobbies to get to the labels. We made new demos under them. They financed new demos for us, and they shopped us to all the major labels. And then we had Def Leppard's manager. I can't believe I'm actually saying this. We had Def Leppard's manager go to the label and say, who do you think's going to open for Def Leppard next year? So they were dropping shit, playing the game. And let me tell you, it wasn't a lie. It's just that the next year, Def Leppard went out on their own, an evening with Def Leppard, and nobody opened for them.
Right.
So, but nevertheless, 8 months later, we were signed to MCA Records. It was a battle between MCA and Capitol Records, which was pretty cool. But we learned something very valuable in that. The first label that came down to see us was Warner Brothers. And let me tell you something, dude. To be playing your hometown club and you know that the fucking head of A&R for Warner Brothers is in the fucking house. He then saw us, says, I want to come see you guys rehearse. Okay. And we rehearsed at Steve's mother's house. So he comes to Steve's mother's house with his girlfriend. And this guy's like, I don't know, 58, 60 at that. And I'm 21 at the time, you know. I was 20 at the time. That means Steve was 18. PJ was fucking 16. Give you an idea. And we sit him down there. He's with the girl. He goes, hi, guys, play me that one I heard. Oh, yeah, okay. Da-da-da. Hey, can you play me a slow song? Yeah, sure. Ba-da-da-da. Hey, play me one about mid-tempo. Yeah, okay. Bing, bang, bang. This goes on for about 45 minutes. He says, come here. Guys, I'll fucking sign you right now. However, when Bon Jovi's record comes out on I'm sorry, I said Warner Brothers. I was wrong. It's Polygram. He was there from Polygram.
Okay.
My mistake. I got excited.
Nope.
Yeah, he was from Polygram. Super great guy. He says, guys, I'll sign you right fucking now. But when Bon Jovi's record comes out, I have to give them the attention. And, when Def Leppard's record comes out, I got to give them the attention before I give you the attention.
Okay.
He taught us a valuable lesson. He said, guy, I'll sign you right now. Can have a major label fucking contract. But having a major label contract is not the fucking key, man. Yeah. You want to have a fucking company that puts their shit behind you, makes you a priority.
Yeah.
You could have the best fucking office, the best track record, the best. Every major label has records you fucking heard of that are stars and records you never fucking heard of.
Yep.
He taught us something, and he wasn't being a dick. He was fucking giving us an education, man.
Yeah.
You know, I can't tell you how I valued that experience.
Yep.
And he fucking drove home a certain point. You find a label that can offer you priority.
Right.
That's a shit. Budget's secondary. You can have $1 million budget. If they don't find out what the fuck's in the closet, don't fucking matter, man. You know, so I carry those lessons today when I do whatever I'm doing. You know what I'm saying? But if I can convey a message to somebody out there, it ain't about getting signed. It's about forging an alliance with someone that truly believes in you to make you a priority. I think that's really a fucking very important thing. And I don't care if you make golf balls, garbage bags, you want to own a restaurant or be a rock star. It's fucking about forging alliances with joining forces with somebody that makes you a priority. That is a fucking valuable quotient in success. You have to fucking learn that. And we learned that lesson very early on.
I think most of us know of bands that you think were amazing, but the label never made them a priority. And
happens. And like I said, we're talking about Polygram. Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, they're on Polygram, which is also a bad thing when you're a trickster trying to come up through the ranks.
Right.
And your record agent's giving all the fucking priority to Bon Jovi and Def Leppard, and we're getting fucked. It's an amazing experience to have a fucking professional like that guy. Can't remember his name, goddamn. He was a really nice guy. Really nice guy. He was so cool, but he was honest. He was fucking honest. You don't find that, man. You know what I'm saying? You find the opposite of some shyster fuck that just signs you to a deal and screws you. He was not that guy. He was he was such a nice guy. And we were young and impressionable. We could have told us anything. He was fucking honest and gave us some, you know what I'm saying? That was fucking cool. And we're like, and we had our management also that was there, Ken and Joel. They were there to help us out. And but I got to tell you, as kids, we learned something there, man. And as we went through this process of showcasing, we showcased for all the fucking, every fucking major label in New York and LA we fucking, played for. They all came. Simon Cowell came to our show and fucking checked us out and shit. So, I mean, the whole night, by the way, he didn't like us. Hey, fuck you. So he didn't like anybody, so that's all right. It's okay.
I don't want to go negative here, and I'm not, but
come on, do it.
MCA, it had the reputation of not being a good. It worked for you guys.
And I'll
But
tell you why. Let me tell you why. At the first record, our first record, we did not go direct to MCA. We went to a subsidiary called Mechanic, which
Mechanics.
had a distribution deal with MCA.
Okay, that's right.
Now, that was all the fucking difference. There was a guy, Steve Sinclair. He was the president of Mechanic. At the time, they had bands like Voivod and Bang Tango.
Yeah.
But when we got signed with them, he conveyed a message to us that we would be a priority.
Okay.
Not only did he put up the money, and the money was very substantial. We had a great recording budget. He was going to take care of us. Blah, blah, blah.
Right.
We were going to be a priority, and that was the thing. We also met the team up there. There were people like Charity Baranski in the executive offices out there. There was Chip Ruggieri, the number one PR guy in the goddamn business, who was at that time, he was a hidden gem. But we saw these people. We met with these people like, oh, we like these motherfuckers, you know? And guess what? So people say a mechanic, what's a mechanic? Let me tell you what a fucking mechanic is. When we had our video out on MTV and it wasn't on the countdown, when you're supposed to call in to get on the countdown, the top 10 videos requested of the day, Mechanic shut the fucking office down, locked the fucking doors, and they got on the phones and dialed every day to MTV. Hey, Trixter. Hey, Trixter. Hey. Will Polygram fucking do that for you?
Right.
Probably not.
Right.
So when you talk about priority, it's a lot of things. It's dedication to the fucking band, to the new brand coming up. And find the best advice we got from the guy at Polygram was to make sure you find a fucking label that offers you priority. Money secondary, and Mechanic gave us great money. God bless. And we made a beautiful thing. But it's a confluence of different fucking components that make it fucking happen. If somebody gives you $1 million, that ain't necessarily it, man.
Right.
You know, it takes more than that. It takes fucking more. And it's not in the monetary sense, but there's different components. You must cover those fucking bases to launch your fucking rocket. It's really that simple. And Mechanic was the one that made that record happen, not MCA. MCA had distribution. MCA had distribution around the world. It was fucking awesome distribution.
Right.
It was, but if MCA probably couldn't give us, like you said, they had a reputation of fucking signing bands and.
Yeah.
Now another example, MCA had bands like Night Ranger. Did they have Night Ranger? Yeah, well, let's say Elton John, and bands you never fucking heard of. You know, they were fucking big. So we didn't want to be one of those ones that you saw in the closet that you never heard of. You know,
it sounds like everything just kind of aligned for you guys. Meeting John Bon Jovi, everything just worked.
Yes and no. See, I tell you the good parts. You don't hear the shit parts of a fake manager showing up saying, hey, I'm Great White's manager. I want to manage you guys. And Great White's management never fucking heard of the guy. So I'm telling you, man, we've had a lot of good. And most people see it. We weren't on MTV one day. The next day we're on MTV. Oh, they made it overnight. They didn't see the 5 fucking years of shit that we did prior. You see what I'm saying? So when I tell the story in a podcast, it's different than what actually fucking happened. I'm telling you the good parts. We had a lot of bad parts too. Not a lot. We were very fortunate, I must say. We were young. Yep. And some guys do it for 20-something fucking years and nothing happens. Thank God that wasn't us. You know, we were young. We were fucking stupid. We had good guidance and we had good parents too. You know, we had good support. We were young. I didn't have to worry about a mortgage, a wife, kids, shit like that. You know, fucking PJ was still in fucking high school, you know, so we came from a different dynamic with a different perspective. Thank God. You know, thank God. And yes, we've had a lot of luck along the way too, but we had good guidance. And I got to tell you something, when you hear all these stories about pedophiles and all that bullshit, we had just a little of that, but we had people that were really very nice to us and gave us decent guidance that weren't trying to screw us, you know? So thank God, we were very fortunate.
What do you remember about recording the debut? Was it Bill Ray?
He put out a good video on that one too. He had a lot of behind the scenes video.
Yes.
Particularly and you could hear I got to tell you, so you got to hear the. I just got to say one time, you got to hear the fucking snare I had in pre-production with that fucking thing. It sounded so great. I was like, yeah. And then when I got the final mix on the record, I'm like, oh, sounds good. When are they mixing it? Oh, that's the final mix, Gus. I'm like, what? So fucking pissed. Such is life. Such is life. But what a hell of an experience, man. Packing your shit, going to LA and working with a producer, getting ready to make your debut record for Mechanic MCA. I mean, hello.
Yeah.
Partying with David Lee Roth at the Cat House at night, throwing it up at Ralph's Supermarket in the evening. Man, I shit you not. We did it all.
Right.
But almost every night, I'd walk down the street to the supermarket, get myself a bottle of champagne, and at night, after our day is done, I'd sit in the hot tub and I drink my champagne, looking at the stars at Los Angeles, fucking Hollywood, and going, "Oh man, one day." I was like, "I'm this fucking close. I'm this fucking close." It was amazing. It was really an amazing time.
Do you ever look, and this is just a random, but do you ever like look back and go, those were the good times before you made it? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, a lot. Yeah. You just don't understand what the good times were. Like, with a certain young lady in the parking lot in freaking Staten Island or something like that. See, even local bands, hell, even cover acts these days, there's stories to be told. You know what I mean? Just being in that world.
Sure.
I always say this: lawyers get groupies.
Yeah.
You play in a fucking rock band that's happening? Come on. You know what I mean? It's like, and God bless. So yeah, there was a certain level of status that we enjoyed prior to getting signed, prior to MTV and all that shit.
Yeah.
It was just being part of the scene, man. That's what we wanted to do. Here's a great little, I don't want to call it a story, but I guess it is. I remember my first all night party. I was 16 years old, and our manager at the time was like 18. And we went to that. We had mentioned about this guy, John Chrissy, who recorded our first demo. And he used to host these all night parties. After our show, he'd recruit all the chicks and all the guys back to his place. We had the best fucking time. And after everything was over, it was probably around 4:00 in the morning. Sun was just starting to come up, and fucking everybody cleared out, but the certain nucleus, just like 5, 6 of us. And he'd make pasta. And his name's John Chrissy. I mean, the fucking guy knew what the fuck he was doing, right? So he had a certain kind of pasta, certain kind of fucking Romano cheese from the fucking Bronx, and no sauce. Only the pasta with a fucking little certain kind of olive oil with the fucking Romano cheese from the fucking Bronx, and that's all you fucking eat. Okay. So it was the fucking best. So sun comes up. Okay, guys, we're done with the pasta. Drive home. Okay, be careful. Okay, bye-bye. We're going driving home. Sun's just coming up. Everything's fucking dead. Ain't nothing going on, right? All of a fucking sudden, we come to the center of town. Holy shit. There's people fucking running all over the place. There's cars fucking back and forth. I go, dude, what's going on? Turn on the radio. Shit, quick, see what happened. Nothing happened. It's just a weekday. People are going to fucking work. We were like, fuck. We just had the best fucking night. I'm 16 years old and I'm on top of this fucking rock and these fucking cocksuckers are chasing their fucking tail. I said, I will never live my life like that. I will never fucking try to make the bus to work a fucking shit job and I had that at 16, man.
Right.
I swear to God, we didn't know what the fuck was going. I thought there was an earthquake or some fucking thing. You know what I mean? Everybody's scrambling. And this is New Jersey, northern New Jersey, just outside the realm of New York, the tri-state area. And this is hustle bustle, regular rat race, fucking Monday. Right. And because it was Sunday night, was all ages night at the China Club, and we were the headliner. We had the party back there. By the time we got done with the pasta, we're going home, and everybody's starting to get ready to go to work Monday morning.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck is going on? I was exposed to a lot. I think we all were exposed to things at a very young age. So we looked at things differently. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And we knew where we didn't want to be.
Yeah.
But do I remember those times? Do I really? Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about John Christie's basement. Oh, I can't tell you about it. It's in the contract. I can't talk about it.
No
But
problem.
I'll let you, Matt. Go ahead. Talks amongst yourselves.
I'm sure. I'm sure.
We had a lot of fun.
I think, you guys were looked at as an overnight sensation. I think part of that was that you were marketed as being so young. I remember hearing about and thinking that because I was 18 in 1990, I assumed you guys were all my age. Like you guys
Not
were
much older.
and maybe PJ
Yeah,
was.
PJ was.
PJ was.
Yeah.
But you were marketed like that. Like people didn't know that you had been slugging it out in the clubs for 4 years by the time your album hit, I think. So
Let me come clean on that too, bro. I hate to say this, but it's the truth, so I'll say it now. The record company wanted us to lie about our ages, make us a little younger than we actually were.
right.
Now, quite honestly, PJ was fucking 16 years old when he signed the recording contract.
Yeah.
Steve was 18. I was 20. It was effective on my 21st birthday. The contract was effective May 1st, 1989.
Okay.
I was 12. So I signed it a few days prior. It became effective on May 1st, 1989. I just turned 21 on May 1st, 89.
Okay.
Pete was 2 years older than me, so he was 23. What, not young enough for you?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now, if anything, I was in favor of like keeping it a mystery.
Right.
I don't see why they wanted to capitalize on that. And herein lies a problem. If you're going to fucking be young, you got to go youthful marketing, things like Teen Beat and Tiger Beat magazine and shit.
Right.
Now, here we are, rock and roll band. We don't want to be in Teen Beat and Tiger Beat. We want to be serious rock and roll band. Cream and fucking Hit Parader and Circus and shit like that, right?
Yep.
That's a fucking conflict. If you're going to choose a certain marketing avenue, you better follow the avenue of marketing. If you're going to follow a certain route and not, you're fucking it up right out of the gate.
Right.
So we had some problems like that, you know?
Was your management on board with that or did you discuss it?
We all, at the end of the day, we ended up committing to it, and they shaved 2 years off of Pete, a year or two off me, and like 1 year off Steve, and PJ stayed the same. Okay. Something like that. I can't even remember myself. I believe 2 years was taken off of me. They might have chopped 3 years off Pete. I just don't remember exactly, you know?
Right. Okay.
But
okay.
PJ stayed the same.
Right.
But
right.
the thing is, we were young enough to begin with. We didn't have to fucking lie about it. But if anything, I don't see what the positive, what the pro was, what the advantage was to doing that. You know,
it was almost like
they wanted to make us like the new kids on the block of metal. To be quite honest with you,
it was like it almost felt like again when the album came out, I felt like you were all 18, so they wanted it to be like you guys had all graduated high school together. You were, when it
wasn't that far off, dude.
Wasn't that far
You
off.
know what I'm saying? I was 2 years younger than Pete. Steve was 2 years younger than me, and PJ was 2 years younger than Steve. We weren't that far off.
What are the band dynamics at that time? Like everybody basically says it was Steve's band. Steve started the band. Steve wrote the songs. But you seem to be, I mean, like, your personality is pretty strong. Pete was a lot older. Was there any like band dynamic? What was the band dynamic?
Yeah, you almost allude to the fact that there might be some conflict or something like that. One thing's for sure, Steve started the band. He was the embryonic component.
I mean, it's never seemed like you guys had problems back then, and it seemed like that's what you're saying. There was no like issues.
Yeah, I mean, you hear the classic stories about writer credit and equal pay and all that shit. We never had an argument, and I'll give you a perfect example. I was not a major writer in the band. Yeah. I never felt I deserved any credit. Oh, you're getting that percentage. I should get a percentage too. No.
Right.
No. I never felt entitled to something like that, you know? If anything, the rest of the guys in the band were pretty fucking generous we're throwing me a fucking bone on the fucking deal, you know, a little above than my contributions. Yeah, I have drum parts, but as far as writing the song, no, for the 95% of the shit I was not a writer in, you know, and so do I deserve it? No. Never anything like that. So I don't think we ever had a problem in that regard or any kind of weirdness like that at all. And certainly not at the beginning. We have no problems. My mother's going to kick my ass if I don't do my fucking geometry homework. Like, that was the problems we fucking had, you know? Oh, I don't know if I can make the show. I'm supposed to go to my Aunt Susie's house. It's her birthday or christening of her fucking kid. Fuck that. You got to play the gig, dude. You know, that's the kind of dynamic we were dealing with.
Right.
Well, you know, not any real fucking problems.
Right.
From, you know, in a real world scenario.
Right.
Now, our real world, where we were young, we had to do our homework and fucking get decent grades or else we weren't going to be allowed out, you know, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
You'll notice that Gus is wearing a different outfit now. Well, there were some technical difficulties when we recorded this, so we actually stopped at one point and continued the next day. So here is the continuation of my interview with Mark Gus Scott.
Okay, so we left off with I was asking you about on the debut album, Line of Fire was the first single. I don't think a lot of people knew that.
Good point. And, you know, it's kind of funny. We learned a valuable lesson about doing this, too. When we first put the record together, I think Give It to Me Good was a song we said that should be the single.
Yeah.
But the record company pointed something out that was very important, something about building a base. And one thing's for sure, when you're not big and famous and all that kind of crap, getting attention is kind of important. So building a base was very important. There's a lot of different kind of radio stations out there. Let's also remember, this is before the internet. We had to go to radio stations, and we had a greater probability of getting on the smaller stations than, let's say, the big commercial radio stations. Okay. So building a base means approaching album-oriented rock stations, P2s, P3s, not those P1s like Z100 in New York or Pirate Radio in LA. The chances of getting on those are remote until you really start building something up. So we had to develop those relationships at the P2s and the P3s. And there was also something called Z-Rock. Z-Rock was, I think, one of the first, well, certainly one of the first rock syndicated radio stations across the country. And we promoted a rock single called Line of Fire. That was opening track of the album, my favorite song to play live. It was a hard hitter, real badass. And we did very, very well. We got a lot of attention on those lower tier stations, but a lot of them. And it actually scored #1 on Z-Rock. So it got us attention, and it got a place to spread the virus. And the real importance why you want to develop that rock base, when it comes time to get on MTV, you're going to have a bunch of people to get on those phones and call in support of you. And that's really the value of garnishing a base. I don't care what business you're in. If you make golf balls, you make garbage bags, it don't matter. The same thing, you want to develop a base of audience that's going to be valuable to your brand.
Was there any concern with, hey, we're not going to make a video for the first single? I mean, it seems like video was so important back then.
Agreed. And that's why we did it as a launching pad for Give It To Me Good. That was really it. So believe me, I wish we did do a video for Line of Fire. I thought it'd be really cool, but no, it didn't happen that way. But you know, honestly, maybe it should have.
Right.
But budget's another thing. It was the budget. We put the money into the people to go to the radio stations and push the track as opposed to doing it. And then that was the launching platform to get Give It To Me Good going.
Right. So Line of Fire doesn't get a video, but it gets you, like, builds a base, and then comes the big one, Give It To Me Good, which I don't think hit right away. Wasn't that kind of a slow build?
You know, it's funny. People see it from the perspective. One day we weren't there, the next day we were. Said, "Oh, it happened overnight," and that's not the way it happened. It really is not the way it happened at all. The album came out May of 1990. And we didn't get played for the first time ever till like September. Now, bear in mind, you have to pay a couple of dollars to make a video. You know what I mean? Yeah. So we kind of threw it in the wind, and all of a sudden we go to major radio. And we said, "Oh, we just made a video. We're going to MTV with it." And the guys at major radio, "Oh, that's great. How often is MTV playing it?" And they weren't playing it quite yet. So like, well, you know, they're going to play it any day. Like, give us a call when they start playing it. We go to MTV. We say, hey, here's our video. Check it out. So yeah, what's Major Radio doing with it? We're like, oh shit. So we got kind of caught in the middle there, But eventually we got a break, and MTV came to us and said, hey, we're going to put you on Smash or Trash. And that was a big opportunity, but opportunity you could really get screwed too. So it was a competition. They play it one time at night, a primetime spot, pretty cool, and it gets exposure. And they put this 1-800 number, call this number and say, Smash, I love it, it's great. Or you could call the other 800 number and say, oh, this thing sucks, kill it, it's trash, So you could, end your career inside of 10 minutes. But we got very fortunate. We smashed around 84%. And that put us into medium rotation on MTV, where they played you once in a while. And it was kind of cool,
Okay.
And from there, things really took off. And this is where that base that we built during Line of Fire came into play. Once we were on MTV, that made it eligible to be requested as the most requested video of the day. Okay. So towards the end, I think it was around 5 p.m., 6 p.m. at night, they had Dial MTV, the big countdown. And people would call during the day, I want Trixter, I want Trixter. And one day we debuted at number 7 on the countdown. And from then it was just forget about it. We climbed the charts. And I remember the first day we hit number 1. It was amazing. And Give It To Me Good, I believe, was number 1 for 7 or 8 weeks. Yeah. And the thing that's really cool about, first off, being number 1, even in the romper room, is pretty cool. All right. But number 1 MTV. And the coolest part was you're not just against hair bands. It was against Madonna, Michael Jackson, Guns N' Roses, the whole 9 yards. You know what I mean? So that was the crazy part about coming to that realization. Like, wow, this is really starting to happen. And it was really, I can't tell you how lucky we were to actually be so fortunate as to be graced with that spot. And thank God we got to do it more than once. It Give It To Me Good, number 1 for about 7-8 weeks. 1 in a Million, number 1 for about 6 weeks. And then Surrender, 2 weeks, number 1, I believe.
Well, sort of. you brought up hair bands and you brought up your competition. In 1990, we're a year before grunge starts coming in. But you guys were, at least Pete was, I don't remember if everybody, but wearing the flannel and the shit. So before I ask about grunge coming in, was there ever any thought or discussion about, hey, maybe we should try to doll up our image? Because you guys were pretty down, you weren't makeup and the hair was all down, pretty normal image.
Yeah, the record company tried to sway us in a certain direction. I think at the time they wanted to capitalize on the youth. Yeah. And there were talks about makeup and crap like that, but we were pretty adamant against it. The way you see us dressed, that's kind of the way we were, Right. We jeans, t-shirts, flannels, that was it. We didn't strategically hire a marketing firm and say, yes, we need the next fashion craze that's going to hit America. I think flannel's going to be it. No, it's like Pete just wore the damn thing one day and it started to take off, and we happen to have flannels. Right. I cut the sleeves off mine, and that's the way we went. It was it. Right. It wasn't a strategic move. We just freaking had them. We used to wear them to school.
Right. Do you remember when Give It To Me Good started blowing up? What was your holy shit, we got an MTV hit?
Well, I tell you, I didn't. I remember. I'm thinking back. I didn't see the first time it was on, but I got a phone call saying that they saw it. And then I went over to Pete's house and we'd watch waiting for it. And one day we saw there it is. And it wasn't even on the countdown yet. Just to see it was so freaking cool, you know? And and the best part is right in the beginning and the end, they have the little words in the bottom left-hand corner that says, Give It To Me Good, Trixter, MCA Records, that kind of thing. That was the coolest part. Just seeing that, just like everybody else's video, that was official. We made it. So, but I remember I was hanging out. I think a young lady's house I was dating at the time, back in 1990. We were watching the top 10 countdown, And I'm like, we're not on it, but we'll watch the countdown. Number 10 goes by, number 9 goes by, number 8 goes by. Like, yeah, whatever. I mean, at that point, I'm like, there's no way we're going to get past that. Number 7 comes up and it's Trixter. I went, oh, give me the phone.
Right.
I had to call everybody and their mother and let them know. So we debuted at number 7 on the countdown, and that's when things really started to heat up. And that was a surreal moment. That, and when it finally did go number 1, yeah. we were in Ohio, Newport Music Festival, Newport Music Hall, and we were on tour with Dokken. And on the off days, we would do these club shows or the theater shows. So we'd do Newport Music Center, and manager comes up to us after sound check, and he gives us this fucking look. And he goes, "Guys, get your ass in the fucking dressing room right now." Now, just a couple days early, I trashed this freaking hotel room. So I'm like, oh no, what did I do now? It's all my fault, Gosh, give me the rap. Oh, you do like that, and we're gonna get kicked off the tour. It's not gonna be good. It's all Gus's fault. No, that wasn't the case. Brings us to the backstage. He goes, "Guys, I want to let you know, you're number 1 on MTV." There was a dead silence over the room, and for a minute, like, this guy kidding? Well, pretty much looked at each other. Like, no, he's not kidding. And we realized that things were really going to start happening. And it was pretty wild. Even started to tear up a little right now thinking about it. But man, I got to tell you something. To go out on stage that night and say we had the number 1 video on MTV, it was a moment. And it was like, wow. And things really were starting to happen. And
I have goosebumps right now hearing you talk about it. I'm not even sure.
Yeah, and I'm trying to take it easy. But man, I got to. There's a couple of moments like that through what we did that you stop and you're like, wow, and that was certainly one of them. And just the silence that went over the room, because like we knew we were climbing the chart, we knew things were going well, but at the same time, we're out there, we're playing 6-7 nights a week. We're in a different place every day, on the bus, get moving. But the fact of the matter is, you maintain what in your head what's going on, but you're not really prepared for the moment when someone says you actually hit that spot. You know what I mean? And that was pretty amazing.
Yeah.
And it's also another thing, as we were going through our career, so to speak, as we reached new heights, we didn't want to walk around like, we're the shit. So it's also maintaining a level head through that thing. But I got to tell you, when you hit that spot, it's like, it's euphoric. And I remember everybody just looking at each other. And at first, we weren't sure if our manager was kidding. Yeah. And we realized he wasn't. And we were just dead silent about it. Like, how do we handle this? You know what I mean? And it was fucking the best thing in the world, bro. But yeah, thinking about it now, it's like, wow. I'm so fucking lucky. I can't tell you. And but you know where it all started? With those P2s and P3s laying that fucking groundwork of the fan base and getting them awareness on our record. And if we went straight to the P1s, the commercial hit radio stations, we wouldn't have fucking had that base, dude. Right. So the importance of building a base for your product, no matter what industry you're in, is something so freaking important. Because guess what? Once you're at number 1, there's only one place you can go, and it's fucking down the mountain. And guess what? It's those P2s and P3s that'll still fucking be there for you. Right. And that's a very important quotient. It's really important.
So we talked, give it to me good. You mentioned 1 in a million, and then you get the ballad. And man, if you got a ballad that can do something, you're like, usually that's the ticket to go from gold to platinum. Now I could be wrong about this. I'll ask the question: is it true that when Surrender is on Dial MTV, that's when Dial MTV gets taken off the air?
It's funny you should mention. We did give it to me good. 7 weeks number 1, 1 in a million, 6 weeks number 1. Surrender hits. It debuts at number 2. I think two or 3 days later goes number 1. It was number 1 for 2 weeks, and then MTV killed the countdown. So technically, we are still number 1. We were the last number 1 video to ever be played on MTV. Right. So now, how many weeks is that? It's like 33 years and counting. So it's pretty funny, So I make a joke in saying it, but it also has the ring of truth to it as well, which is pretty funny. But I wish to God we released that sucker a couple months earlier, because it would have changed. My divorce settlement would have been 3 times as big. So.
So Okay. Conspiracy theory time.
Come on.
A lot of people who think there was a big conspiracy theory to get whatever 80s rock and to change the scene. And part of that had, well, we got to get rid of Dial MTV because then people won't know what the true fans want and we can start inserting our new thing. Have you ever heard about that and what do you think about it?
100%. And I believe there is a ring of truth to it as well. There's a couple things to think about looking back. Number one, the change in the programming. At the time, and this is really weird, being that we lived through it, 1990, 91, where we got cut on MTV. I'm trying to think what month it was, just before the summer hit, maybe April, May or something like that, you know. Mm-hmm. The whole playlist change. I mean, when I say when we say that the countdown got killed, it didn't just affect bands like Trixter. It was Bon Jovi, Def Leppard, Winger, Warrant. The whole genre got knocked out.
Yeah.
And what was the alternative became the mainstream, and the mainstream became the alternative. 2 years earlier, Nirvana or bands like that couldn't get arrested on MTV.
Yep.
Now they were dominating. We couldn't get arrested on MTV. Yeah. I hung out with Dave Abruzzese, the drummer from Pearl Jam, at 1993 NAMM, the NAMM show in Anaheim, California, big industry show for people that don't know. But it was weird because we were crisscross. I was falling down the mountain. He was climbing up the mountain. And we ended up talking a lot and became friendly. He was a really nice guy and a good drummer. Yeah. But it was we didn't know if there would be like animosity or something, you know. But he was really cool. We went out for drinks and he was really nice. And we talked about how crazy of a dynamic it is to see that switch, you know. But I got to tell you, it was also a very interesting perspective to see it from his side. You know what I mean? And I wish them all the best. I mean, God bless. They killed it. They went fantastic. But I got to tell you, what a great guy. And it's just weird. I know I had other brushes with people on the alternative side, and they kind of snubbed their nose at you. Dave was like the coolest guy. He was a really nice fella. So spending time with him and getting that perspective was really cool. But yeah, it was a very weird thing. So back to the question, as far as conspiracy, yeah, I believe there was in fact there certainly was a conscious effort to make change. Yeah. The question is why. By killing the countdown, yeah, you could also see in the programming what was going on. There was more program shows as opposed to playing videos. Not to mention the genres like ours got knocked out, dude. What did we see more of? Yo MTV Raps.
Yeah,
we say stuff like that, and why then? Then there's questions why that programming. You know, one of the big conspiracy theories is that the prison system was privatized, and they isolated rap music as something that increased the market share of people that went to jail. So that's a contributing factor. And I don't have any proof to that fact, but I believe it is something that warrants merit as far as an idea, part of it, that it was financially motivated, that people within the private prison system entered some kind of deal to where it would change programming. And that they directly linked that programming to, like, for instance, you could directly link the MTV programming to our success. Same thing, you could direct a different programming to cause and affect something else.
Right.
So that's certainly another thing also. And I believe there is a very good possibility there's a ring of truth to that.
I used to be somebody who these conspiracy theories, like the world is not that sinister. In the last few years, the world is that sinister.
I hate this dude, brother. I used to be someone that, you know, it's funny. I shouldn't. There are people that brought things to my attention a long time ago. I was like, get the frick out of here.
Yep.
10 years later, I'm finally catching up. I'm telling you what, man, and I hate to be right about. These are things you don't want to be right about, you know. But yeah, unfortunately, the world can be a very sinister place. And if you think it isn't, you better freaking wake up.
Yeah, and we don't need to get into specifics, but I'm just
that's why I started a vodka company. I could just drown those sorrows away.
So we get into the changing scene. What was when Nirvana, because Nirvana Smells Like Teen Spirit first gets played in September of 91. You guys are, at the time, probably still riding high. What was your thought? And because we, as a 18-year-old, we just thought, oh, here's another kind of rock. no different than there's Trixter and Iron Maiden and Metallica. We didn't know that that was the end of everything. What did you think when grunge started to hit?
Well, okay. This was really weird. And again, because we lived through it and we were riding at our highest point right when this happened. We died at number one, but we were still on the road. We were out with I guess when it started to happen, we were with Scorpions and we were doing really well with the Scorpions. It was a Crazy World tour, very big record, very big tour. We did places like Irvine Meadows, sold out 2 nights in a row, 18,000 people a night. Oakland Coliseum, 2 nights in a row, 15, 16,000 people a night. It was going very, very well.
Yep.
After that, we did the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour with Warrington Firehouse, which was the biggest tour in 1991.
Yes.
It started like, oh, this will be a nice tour. They were like, oh, shit, we sold out. Let's find a bigger place. Oh, shit, we better add on some more dates. It was like the surprise. And we did places like the World Amphitheater in Chicago, 33,000 people sold out. If someone told me we could have pulled that trick, I would have been like, shut up, So the thing that's weird, all that happened when they killed MTV.
Yep.
So at the end of the night, Janie Lane, singer from Warranty, would call all the bands out. We'd jam a song all together. And at the end of the night, we'd all stand there, all 3 bands, sold out 30,000 people. And we're looking like, how the hell did MTV cut us all? How did we get screwed up? The conspiracy, what we thought the conspiracy was that somebody slept with like the president's daughter or something like that. Yeah. I swear to God, I'm like, that must be it. That has to be. There's no other way. Because we're looking at 30,000 people going freaking crazy, and no one's being played on MTV. It's like it didn't make sense, until you give it a little time. Yeah. Then it really started to make some sense. But somebody consciously led an effort to make a change. Yep. It didn't happen naturally. There's no way. No. So it certainly adds fuel to the fire on the conspiracy theory.
Yep. And well, I mean, you got to talk. You guys had some of the most sought after tours that you could have. Scorpions. You did some with Striper. You toured with Poison. Talked about the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour. And wasn't there some crazy Bret Michaels stripper story when you were with Poison? Or
no, there wasn't.
Okay.
All right. Well, first off, we got our first real big break in the arenas was due to Poison. They were the first arena band to ask us to come and open the show, and we were big fans. We loved them. So it's funny. We were out with a couple bands prior, and the big thing when you're on a new tour is someone from their camp comes over, and the headliners camp comes over. Hey, welcome to the tour. Welcome to the tour. I was like, all right, here we go. So first night of the tour, Bret Michaels comes in. Hey guys, welcome to the tour. I go, oh, here we go. Just welcome to the tour bullshit, But Bret was super freaking cool, and he said, all right, guys, have a great show. Listen, after the show, give us after Poison gets off. Give us time to take a shower, whatever, and why don't you come back to the Poison dressing room and have some dinner or something? Like, holy shit! Not only are we playing arenas, Bret fucking Michaels asked us to have dinner in the Poison dressing room. That's right, we were like, fuck yeah, it was the coolest fucking thing. So we go out there, we play the show. Our first arena show was it went fucking great, and we go back after the show. We go take a shower in the dressing room. Now, people don't understand. It's not just one shower, one person. It's a sports locker room, like a pro sports locker room. So it's a big concrete room with 10 shower nozzles. Yeah. So you're showering technically all together. Yeah. Not like this, but, it's space. It's one big concrete room with a bunch of showers. You stand on it. So we're in there a good 3 minutes. All of a sudden, Bret Michaels comes walking in with his stage gear, and he's got 5 strippers and champagne bottles coming in. He goes, hey, boys, welcome to the tour. And we got a hell of a shower that night. It was freaking awesome. But the best part of the story was like, he didn't have to do that. Yeah. And I can't tell you, he made it an experience for us. It was so special. And that's why all the chicks come in with these half shirts with their boobs hanging out the bottom. They all say Poison. It's like he spent a couple $100 in merch just to dress these broads that we're going to take off the clothes anyway. I got to say, he was a class act, and I'll never be able to thank him enough for not only the opportunity to tour, but the experience. He really made it special. He really did.
Was there, and you don't have to answer, but was there anybody that you toured with who you were like, geez, what a dick, or like, did you feel like
You know what? You know, it's kind of funny you mentioned that. I have very few instances throughout my whole ride in meeting people. People were very nice to us, and there were very few dicks along the way.
Yeah.
There's a couple, I won't mention their name, but there's very few.
Yeah.
Oh, very few. We got along with everybody, and particularly people we toured with.
Yeah.
We were always treated with respect. We were honored. And we still maintain a friendship today. I just saw the Striper guys a couple months ago. It's been a while since I've seen them. We sat around for, I don't know, hour and a half, laughing, reminiscing, telling stories, laughing our freaking heads off. Yeah. And it was so wonderful. I mean, I know those guys 34 years now. It's like, Jesus Christ, it's crazy to imagine, but it's so beautiful too. You know what I mean? I see the Warrant guys on occasion, the Firehouse guys. Not as much as I used to, but I tell you what, it's a beautiful thing to have these friends. They're part of our family, you know what I mean? But yeah, I got to tell you, very few dicks along the way, very few.
Yep.
Nice people,
I've done numerous videos about Janie Lane. I got to hang out with, just as a fan, but, drank with them multiple times in the mid 90s and shit like that. I was always a big fan. So I was just going to ask, like, we talked about the Blood, Sweat, and Beers tour. I mean, do you have any, like, did you guys try to hang? Because that Warrant group partied. Did you guys try to hang with them and,
Oh, dude, the one thing, when you see on YouTube, when we all get out and play the last song together.
At the pay-per-view, yeah.
That wasn't like some kind of scripted thing. I mean, it started that way. Yeah. We were like, the dynamic you see on stage is exactly the dynamic we were off stage. We went out and partied every goddamn night. Janie taught me how to drink tequila. We weren't really drinkers until we went on that tour. Like between Joey, Allen, and Janie, they mandated that you drank. Like we were going to get kicked off the tour if we didn't drink. So, right. But it became a ritual every night we would go out. That was a nonstop party tour. That was the most fun human beings, I believe, can have and still walk around. Yeah. And some of them are not here now. Yeah. So it's like, I got to tell you something. There were some moments that we spent, and things that we have done that most people have not ever will not ever do. And I can't tell you how fortunate we were to call them brothers. They're not even just friends. We did things together that most people have never done, and we had so much fun. Yeah. We had so much. Joey Allen helped me get my Pearl endorsement. Okay. Pearl Drum. You know how much love I got for those guys. Yeah. Stephen Sweet even came when we record our second record in LA. He came by the studio and he played a little something on one of the records, a cymbal roll kind of, just as like I wanted him to grace the record, man. So, and it was cool. It was like, it's a brotherhood, it's something really special. Yep. And I'm honored, but it was not bull. When you see that, it's not, we rocked the Firehouse, Trixter, and Warrant. We were like this. And we ripped this country a freaking new one. It was the greatest time in the world.
Okay, so all these great things happen with the first album. Amazing tours. It goes gold. I was always shocked that it never went, I don't think it went platinum, the debut.
Eventually.
Okay. So what is it like when you go in to record here with James Barton? Is there any, we know what's happening with MTV. Are you guys like, fucking A, we're going, look at all the success we had? Or are you fuck, I hope this works out, like going into that album?
Number one, we never did things strategically in the sense that, maybe, I mean, we were young and dumb to some degree. We had good guidance with our management. We had good people working with us. But when it came to, we took a lot of time off between the first record and the second record also. Yep. I'll say this, even later in time, when somebody said we want to make a record, we didn't just make a record for the sake of making a record. We made a record because we had some great fucking material. Yeah. You know what I mean? We had some great freaking material for the second record. Yeah. It's my favorite record. A lot of people say the same thing. Just the climate in which we released it was less than ideal.
Mhm.
So yeah, there was some concern that we were knocked out of number one, so to speak, and our genre was not getting played,
Yep.
in America.
Yep.
Big couple strikes right there, So yeah, there was some concern, but that didn't stop us from making a great record. You know what I mean? So we were cautious about it, but we still went full throttle in the sense that, hey, this is what we want to do. And it also got us on the Kiss tour in 1992, opening for Kiss on the Revenge tour, which was freaking another one of those moments when I had that phone call. Oh my God. I mean, dream come true. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Completely crazy.
Yeah. And I love the Here album and I love the Kiss Revenge album, and neither one of them did what we all thought they should have done.
I'll tell you what, whoever went to those shows, they saw a hell of a goddamn show, boy. Go on YouTube, you see some bootleg. There's some good bootlegs out there.
Right. Right. When you're on that tour, like when do you kind of go, shit, here is not happening? I don't mean to dredge up bad things, but I'm just like,
Oh no, that's okay. No, I mean you take it. It's a reality, It's nice to embellish the good things and bury the bad, but it's not reality. The reality is we had a fucking hard turn, and it really happened in '93 that we started to come to this realization, like, wow, we're not getting traction here, blah blah. But the one thing that we did have are those P2s and the P3 radio station. We had that base. Right. That's the value of really creating that early on. So it doesn't help you on the way up. It certainly helps you on the way down. You know what I mean? Right. And that even till today, they're those stations that still play us. Thank God. You know what I mean? Yep. And it helps keeps those fires lit. So God bless. It's a beautiful thing. But yeah, I mean, we came to a realization, and it wasn't just us. We went from having a great recording contract, the best agency in the world, CAA, as our people booking our tours, doing our agent.
Yep.
We had the best PR people, Trixter Entertainment, the best PR guy in the business. Our managers were fantastic: Joel Weinshanker, Ken Mako, Shark Entertainment, and we ended up losing it all.
Yeah.
So we were at the pinnacle, the best, and we had the shittiest. And '93 is when it started to freaking fall down the mountain, so to speak.
Yep.
Ultimately in January '95, I quit, and the band, I guess, disbanded a few months after that.
Yep. You guys,
thanks for really just screwing the mood on this whole interview, bro. You really fucking bring me over. All right, you bro, calling my fucking lawyer, you prick.
I gotta admit, you have thrown out the most comedy of any interview that I think I've ever done. So I appreciate it.
What's these fucking guys stand in front of a goddamn lens? You go, oh, I wanted to tell you a story about my accountant. Oh, get the fuck out of here! Come on.
I did. You guys. So, well, do you remember getting dropped? And like, what was like? Is the band how was the band dealing with this? Are you still like, no, we're staying together, it's all for one for all, or what's like when you get dropped from the label?
When we started doing this, of course we all wanted the great things of success, but we didn't do it for that. We did it because we want to rock, you know what I mean? And yeah, we want to be on MTV. Yeah, you want to be on tour. The biggest thing, we wanted to play live. That was the big thing for us. That was the ultimate thing for us. Yep. So just because you fell down a mountain doesn't mean you stop. We made a record on our own, got a distribution through Sony Records in '94.
Undercovers.
Correct, right. The Undercovers record, which was kind of cool little project.
Yes.
And I think it was the first time we recorded in Steve's home studio. So that worked out really well. It gave him some good experience too. And he did a good job. It came out nice. It was pretty cool.
Yep.
But ultimately, yeah, it was very rough on all of us. And, I got pretty upset in the sense that I remember we wanted to go on this little jaunt on the road, and it was January '95. We show up to the first gig, and the place was closed and didn't tell us.
Okay.
Yeah, so it shows you, what the scene was. It was starting to get bad, and nobody really wanted to sit down and talk about it and come up with a plan. So I was the first one to say, I think I'm done here. Okay. It was weird. I was always the guy the guy on the pirate ship standing on the very front going, let's go. If we're not having a good time, we're going home. Come on. And it started to be, I ended up being the guy that said, you know what, guys, I'm not having a good time. I want to go home. And I couldn't believe that I was the guy to say that.
Right.
But that was the truth. And unfortunately, those times precipitated the situation.
Was there hard feelings from the other guys?
Yeah, I think they were upset with me. But, you know, that's the same point. I think one thing that this band, one problem that this band has always had, and maybe other people could see it in relationships and things like that, is a lack of communication. Nobody, you know, we'll sit around and goof and be silly bastards and have a great time, and we're brothers in that sense. But when somebody says we need to talk business, everybody runs in a separate direction.
Right.
And that's the worst thing you can fucking do for any business relationship. You know what I mean? So.
And men back in the day were not known for their, hey, let's sit and hash out our issues, you know.
Well, I think I don't know about today, but yeah, some people still have a problem with it.
Yeah. Firehouse built a career overseas. I just interviewed Mike Tramp from White Lion. He says he wishes they had not broken up, that they still had a huge fan base overseas. He wished they had done that. Is that something that you feel like you guys should have or could have done in the early 90s?
I'll give you some real truth here. Normally I used to like not talk about this kind of stuff, but at this point, I think it is greater value to people than me just mouthing off being a stupid fuck. It offers some good business perspective. 100%. When I talked about doing those P2s and P3s in America, same thing. There should have been a team working with the momentum we had on MTV to have 3 #1 videos. The fact that we had no exposure overseas or very little exposure by comparison. Why is that? Well, again, something I never really talk about, but we had product management people at the record company, and the record company had worldwide distribution. We had very good distribution, but for some reason, something didn't happen overseas. And I'll tell you what happened. We got signed in, let's say, well, our record came out in May of 1990. Well, at the end of 1990, the distribution company that was associated with MCA was going to lose their contract, and a new company was coming in. So we came out in May. The company going out and said, "We're not going to help break this fucking record. Why should we do all this work? We're going to lose the contract 6 months from now." And by the time the new guy came in, there was already momentum, and they didn't catch it. They couldn't pick up the ball, and we had some problems with our product management people at the label. So someone screwed up in the sense that, and I don't mean to pass the buck. Ultimately, it's our responsibility, so to speak. But there's somebody's job on the team to manage your product internationally. And we did not have that set up properly. The only thing we did have going was some press. Our press people were fantastic, Trixter Entertainment. But yeah, we did not have distribution overseas. I had a buddy work for Whitney Houston, Viggy. People that know Viggy, God bless him, God rest his soul. He'd be touring in Japan with Whitney. He'd go to the record store and he goes, I'm looking for the Trixter album. And they'd give him a Twisted Sister album. You know what I mean? So it's kind of funny, but it's not funny. These are things to keep on top of. If you own a business and you're shipping products overseas, you got to make sure you have proper distribution channels lined up, that you have a promotion out there, that you're getting your PR. Make sure that you have a pipeline all set up, because if you don't, you're screwing yourself. So yeah, the people that had the overseas pipeline set up, like Firehouse, that did a great job. There's a lot of other bands. Bon Jovi, perfect example. Stay the hell out of US, get overseas and freaking rock that all that groundwork that you laid. Yep. Smart as hell. And let me tell you something, man. We did a couple stupid things. 1993, was it 93 or 94? I forget what year it was exactly. But just before we disbanded, we went to Japan off our second record. I think it was 93. Went to Japan. We did 2 shows, almost went gold, never went back. How the hell do you not exploit that? That was one of the dumbest freaking things, and ultimately we take. I feel we should take responsibility, because it was stupid, by any means. So let's just stay in America and get our asses kicked. So the idea of making that global market, the smartest thing a band could do, particularly when you have huge momentum in country. To go over to Sweden, let's say, and say, "Shit, here's the band from America. It's got 3 videos on MTV." Everyone's at least going to go, "What are they selling?" They're going to get attention right out of the box. To not capitalize on that, you're a fucking moron. Right. So, I tell the story now, and I don't care if I throw people under the bus at this point. They fucked up. So, and this is reality, it really happened. So thinking about business today for whatever people do out there, think about your distribution channels. Think about, other areas that you can capitalize on, what they call expanding your client base. And, it's fucking important.
Okay. How long had you been thinking about leaving before you finally pulled the plug?
Not very long. I never thought I would ever leave. I was the first one on the stage, last one to get off. It's like, I didn't want to leave until it got to a certain point. It happened my decision was made relatively quickly.
Okay.
It wasn't like I toiled for months over the whole, no, it was fucking rocking until I realized, like, we got some fucking problems here. Nobody really wants to talk about it, So yeah, it was not festering for a long time.
Yeah. And I don't mean, but like, what
No,
can
that's
you
cool.
address any of the, like, what besides showing up to a club that's closed, like what, and obviously the music climate, I'm just, like trying to see
It was it's precipitated by a number of factors: losing your recording contract, losing your agent, losing your manager, losing distribution, showing up to a club that's closed, and oh gee, what do you want to do for the future? Oh, we'll just tour the clubs and off this undercover CD. Like,
okay.
The idea that and everybody was drinking and having a great time, blah blah blah, but there was a complete disregard of any professionalism whatsoever, and it certainly, I think, began to tarnish the name, tarnish the flag, and I think that ultimately is where I was like, this is not right, and I couldn't stand behind something that doing something that I didn't feel was right.
Yeah. Speaking of drinking, like. Were you always, and don't even know the answer. Were you always somebody who
I love the question.
kept it in control, or were you like?
No, you know what? That's one thing that's funny. We never had a substance abuse problem in the band with anything in that regard, but it was a mental awareness thing. They wanted to party and have fun. Not that anybody was getting into drunk driving accidents or anything like that, but it was a matter of focus. Listen, I love to party, but the next day I can attend a meeting and say, hey, this is what we're going to do. Oh, business taken care of? Let's hit the bar. You know what I mean?
Right.
They hit the bar and just disregarded the business.
Speaking of party, you are the president of American Premium Vodka, so we'll talk about that here in a second. Anyway, product placement.
The president of festivities.
Yeah. Okay, so your Trixter's been your life for a bunch of years, and but what did you do after the breakup?
Gosh, I was with a young lady, which was another strong incentive to I didn't want to leave the band. I didn't want to, but in light of the situation, I wasn't happy. So I ended up going home, bought a house, bought a car, had kids. It's funny. I didn't know what to do. Not to mention also, I didn't want to do anything else really. This was my dream come true. I couldn't really. Once you get off the roller coaster, bumper cars, who gives a shit? It's like. But I found something that I thought I could actually do and do well, and that was I started marketing for an indoor amusement park in our hometown of Paramus, New Jersey. Okay. And I got in the industry of family entertainment, and it was really cool. It was a surprise, but this place was saying, "We need a salesperson, we need a marketing person." I said, "I'll take both those jobs," And at first they were like, "What the hell does a rock and roll drummer know about this business?" But it's really a marketing thing, and I got behind the scenes at MCA Records and learning about global marketing, and that was really a great benefit that I had outside of just performing, getting to know the people at the record company, spending time with them, see what they do on a regular basis and what the cause and effect of the things that they do. And so I took that global thing and used it in a regional sense with amusement parks. And people don't really understand how to drive traffic and what incentives people could use to actually generate revenue. And that's something I really learned and honed in learning at the company, and then bringing it to the amusement center for kids and stuff like that. I eventually started working for the Dave & Buster's Corporation and worked with them in a number of their locations nationally. So I also acted as their national sales representative to the American Bus Association. So it was pretty cool. Pretty cool stuff.
I
But
can
yeah.
I can see your personality working in that field. I mean,
No, I'm a horrible person. Terrible.
yeah. I mean, I'm just straight up like you have a personality that I think draws people in. Like I don't even know you, and yet we've been talking for an hour, and I feel like I can just bullshit with you, and you just so anyway. You have a welcoming personality, so
Oh, I appreciate that. Very kind. It's all an act. Don't fall for it.
and you owe me $5 for saying that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw the text go by.
All right.
Strange text.
So you're doing all this stuff. Are you missing Trixter? Are you missing being a performer in those years?
100%. I had a drum set set up in my house, and I had a big PA system, so I always cranked it up, and the neighbors would. It was funny, but yeah, I mean, as far as doing it on that scale, yeah. And here's the thing, I jam with other guys. It's not the same. There was something about that unit when we played, man. It was you can't. It's hard to duplicate that. You know what I mean?
Yep.
And particularly on the level that we were doing it. So and then in 2008. It's funny. I remember getting on the plane to go home from my last Trixter show with San Antonio, Texas. And I said, this is a perfect start of the comeback. So when 2008 rolled around and Steve Brown and our good buddy JD came to my restaurant, I owned a restaurant in upstate New York. They come in with a video camera. They're like, I've been waiting for this day. And that's when things started to kick back off. I guess Pete and Steve went to the NAMM show again. Funny thing in 2007, and people were just because they were hanging out together. People were like, oh, Trixter's back. It's like, no, we're not really back. But coupled with the fact that Poison asked us to open for them, and we were in a band, so Brett Michaels said, "Hey, here's our agent's phone number. Give him a call. Get your shit back together. Let's get out there." So we gave him a call. We put the band back together, and our second show was opening for Brett Michaels for Poison. Okay. So it was pretty funny. It was like full circle, and it was the greatest thing in the world to put it back together and do it all over again. We did it for another 10 years, opening for bands like Poison, the band Boston, Striper, not Striper, pardon me, Cinderella, Ted Nugent. Oh, God, I can't even. The list is just endless, crazy. I mean, Twisted Sister. Yeah. So many just doing it all over again. It was crazy. Doing big shows like the M3 Festival in Maryland, the Meriwether Post Pavilion, doing Verizon Wireless Amphitheater in LA for a Hair Nation, Cat House Live, all kinds of stuff. I mean, some big stuff, great stuff. Casinos, Four Rivers. I don't know, man. I got to tell you, there's so much crap. It was like fun just to do it all over again, And with these guys, we didn't miss a beat. It was great. We had so much fun, and it was a dream come true yet again. So how lucky can you be? We also put out a record, New Audio Machine, our first record in 13 years, went number 56 on iTunes. We were like, wow. But again, we didn't do it just because we had to make a record. We did it because we had some great freaking material. Yeah, and it was the coolest thing in the world, man. We were truly blessed.
I tell people online, I'm like, if you haven't listened to New Audio Machine or Human Era, the 2015, 2012 New Audio Machine, Human Era in 2015, those are great albums. I'm not just saying that.
I appreciate it, brother. I really do. You know what, dude? And here's the best part. Today, we got YouTube. You don't have to pay for it. Go on there and watch one of the videos. Listen to one of the songs. It costs nothing. Yeah. Give it a shot. I'm just telling you, like, for instance, maybe not as many people have heard of the Here album as they have for the first Trixter record. Go to goddamn YouTube and check it out, dude. Don't cost nothing. But the music is what really counts. There's some really great music out there.
Yeah. Okay, so you get back together for about 10 years, and before I ask the next question, I heard you say in an interview this about the band dynamics. It was always Pete and Gus on one side and Steve and PJ on the other. Was it always that way, or did that happen when you got back together?
It was always that way. Okay. From day one. From pretty much. I mean, we were all very, very close. Sure. It's not like we were enemies. We were two camps, so to speak, but there kind of was. But we were all super close. We still all showered together.
Hard to get closer than that.
Yeah, right. Yeah, but we were that close,
Yeah.
you know, and we could tell each other our deepest, darkest secrets, the whole 9 yards,
Yeah.
you know, that kind of thing. So it wasn't like that, but yes, it was in the sense it didn't happen over time. It was like kicked off from day one that way, more or less.
Okay. The first issue that I remember hearing about, I think it was around 2017. It came out in the news that you and Pete had created a new Trickster official Facebook page,
Ah.
and that was apparent. So I'll just stop there. And is that like, or what led to the first problems?
You know what? That wasn't done by me, but I think it was in retaliation. You know, the problem was that when you don't talk about these problems, they get worse, right? So
Yep.
two camps, so to speak.
Yep.
So the divide got wider. And certain people thought the band should be run a certain way, and other people thought it should be run a different way. And that by not sitting down talking about it, it got to be a problem. And it was something everybody purposely avoided.
Yeah.
And that's a problem, you know. And it got the separate Facebook page or all that crap. That's the end result of this gap getting wider, you
Sure.
know. And I hate to say it was somewhat of a shit show, and you know, it shouldn't come to that. You know, that's the whole thing, but it did.
Right. Okay. And I'll just,
Hey, dude, it's okay. And I'll address anything, but you know, it's just a shame. You know, and those are things that you don't want to capital. You know, I'd rather obfuscate, but I'm not going to lie about it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
But it's just a shame that had to be that way. You know what I mean?
Yep. So the rumor is you tried to trademark the Trickster name, and I'm not trying to, but I'll just throw it out
Where
there.
did the rumors come from?
I don't know. Fuck.
Well, to be very honest with you, and normally I've deflected the question in the past, but I don't give a fuck anymore. Yeah, I did.
Okay.
And the biggest reason why is because that other camp was very dictatorial.
Okay.
And they didn't realize that their throne was made of cardboard. So I basically pulled it out from underneath them.
Okay.
And the fact that they made any, because I didn't talk to anybody really about this publicly. It's funny, after I left the band in 2017, everybody was silent for like 3 years. I came out with Give It To Me Good as a cover single.
Yep.
And then they started squawking out there. It's like, hey, what's sparked their little asses, you know? And because I certainly didn't start talking about this stuff. I didn't really talk about Trixter. I just went off and did my own thing.
Yep.
But when they started squawking, you know, they try to bash me or something like that. That's just a fucking little asinine things. But fact of the matter is, they didn't have their shit together, you know. And I showed them. And I don't even want to talk about this, but I will address it at this point. I feel I have to. It's just so stupid. But it's not like we went to a bitter court battle about it or anything like that. You know, they were caught they got caught in the ass, and they didn't like it. They ruffled their feathers.
Okay.
I went off and did my own thing anyway, and we didn't start a new Trixter or anything like that. But you know, it goes to show that you know there's a way of acting professionally. And to be honest with you, if it were 6 months earlier, without them acting in such a manner, would have said, "Hey, dude," I would tap them on the shoulder and say, "Hey, you know, you ain't got this bass covered. Maybe we should cover that bass." You know,
Yep.
no, I just being that it was 6 months later, I just took that fucking bass for myself.
Okay.
So, you know, at least to illustrate a point.
Okay.
And you know, but honestly, no, Steve started the band. You know, that was never in question. He was the primary songwriter, and you know, I did it more as a you know, a slam in the sense that he deserved the fucking slam. Okay. So that was it. But you know, it's a shame that it even came to that. You know, it really is.
So what was, I mean, what was the outcome of that? Like,
I quit the band again.
Yeah. Right. Okay.
And then, because again, you know, it got to a point again that was just stupid. And some of the ideologies in the band were less than beneficial to the flag. And like pretty much the same problems that we had last time, same thing going this time. And it didn't benefit Trixter. Not just me, not just this guy, not just for everybody as a whole, the band as a unit. And that's always how I thought about this. Flag first. When I say flag first, you know, it's about the country, not just Minnesota. You know, that kind of thing.
Yep. Okay. And then Steve kind of attacked your drumming abilities, and I'm just like, did that surprise you that it kind of went to that level, or?
It surprised me. No, nothing surprised me.
Okay.
But I kind of didn't care. And I got to tell you something though, I got a lot of clicks.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But you know what, dude? I always say, go to YouTube, go see the shows, go see the bootleg concerts are the best. You really get to see all of it. But the millions of people that saw me play, they know.
Okay.
So I don't give a shit. And who knows what'll happen in the future? I don't know.
Okay. You mentioned you did a 30th anniversary of Give It To Me Good. It's kind of a country rock version. And we talked earlier, I thought the ballad that you did With You was great. And I really like the Give It To Me Good version. I'm probably not just saying that. I'm not just saying that. So how did you decide, like, fuck it, I'm gonna go do an old Trixter song?
Tell you the truth, I never. When I started this singing thing, I wrote songs in mind with other people singing. I didn't think I really had I didn't think I had a voice. I'm in question about it. But I did a series of test tracks with stuff, and some people of mine said, "Gus, not bad. You should keep doing it." I'm like, okay. I did a test track with Give It To Me Good. I'm like, holy shit, it's kind of funny. And the idea was not to break out a Trixter song. The idea was to expose the song to a different genre that may not have heard the song before.
Yep.
That's really what it always had, a kind of country flavor. I thought it'd be a great country crossover song. Simultaneously, it was the 30-year anniversary of our first record, and no one was doing anything to celebrate the 30th anniversary. So I'm like,
yep.
Well, fuck it, I'll do it. I did it with my buddy Lou Piccadacci, freaking fantastic. He got a great studio out here in West Phoenix.
Yep.
And man, I got to tell you something. If we had a hoot doing it, it sounds freaking great. Sonically, it just sounds freaking great.
Yep.
I don't know what you don't think about my voice. Nor do I really care, but I had fun doing it. And one thing I will say, our background vocals sound fucking amazing. You got to check out that. So go to YouTube, play that one for free just to check it out. But it's a different flavor. And, I changed it to some degree, but basically the song is the same.
Yeah.
Paid a license for it. And, I never professed to be the writer of the song. I'm not the writer of the song. And nor do I want to offer that impression to anybody. I just wanted to rock it. It was one of my favorite songs. I freaking love that song. I remember when Steve Brown played, I was one of the first guys he played the riff for. I'm up in his freaking bedroom, bouncing on his back. I'm freaking like, yeah, I fucking love this. This is great. We're back to the woohoo. Great. We always thought about like having a country flavor in this thing. Yeah. So I just thought it'd be a natural crossover and was ideal for the 30th anniversary. I said, fucking let's do it. And I did it. And it got some attention. Got on country radio stations. It was pretty cool, man. So fuck it. I don't give a shit. I had fun. It was great.
And we talked about With You earlier in the interview, but like, is there anything else going on? Like, do you have any? I know you're busy with your vodka. I
had some fun when I put With You out. I hit a strong promotional campaign. It went very, very well. It got a lot of attention, and most notably in the press, it was very well received. So that was cool. I never really seriously thought about becoming a solo artist. I had some ideas. COVID actually changed the course of what was going on with me, because if you're going to be a solo artist and not have the opportunity to play, that sucks, and that's right when the Give It To Me Good thing was starting to happen, that COVID hit. So I started changing about what I wanted to do. And it was one day that I was walking down the aisle of my liquor store, and I was out of vodka. I'm looking down this side, looking on the side, and saying, "Oh, look at this brand here. They're celebrating the greatness of Finland. Huh. Oh, well, here's a brand. They're celebrating the greatness of Holland. Oh, they're celebrating the greatness of Russia, the greatness of Ukraine. Not one motherfucker was celebrating the greatness of America." And I said, "Wait a minute. Am I going to have to be the guy to put America on the shelf? Am I going to have to freaking do this?" So I fucking did it. And that's really how I started my next chapter. I was a member of the American Legion. I guess I had this heightened Americanism thing going on. The American Legion, Pat Tillman Post 117 here in Phoenix, Arizona.
There you go.
Here we are. But man, I tell you, it pissed me off.
Yeah.
And like, how the hell did that slip through the cracks? So I started talking with some of the hierarchy at the American Legion, friends at the VFW. And we started a nationwide campaign to donate a portion of every bottle goes to American veteran charities through the American Legion and the VFW. So make sure that they pass their stringent credentials to be worthy of receiving the money, not some stupid charity that some guy's driving a Mercedes around and they're throwing crumbs to the vets. You know what I mean? So they're vetted through the American Legion and the VFW, and it don't get no better than that. And fortunately, the alliance with them has really been, man, I tell you, doing something like that, it's a surprise of your life. You do not expect to feel the way you do when you get involved with people like that. It's the biggest surprise of my life to be part of that family. And I think it's something really beautiful. It really is.
Yep. And we started this interview probably a week ago, and then we had some technical difficulties. But I just wanted to, I'm an Iraq vet. I was in Kosovo in 2009, and I just love your.
Thank you for your service, brother. I know I said it before, and I love you. Thank you very much. I can't tell you how much I appreciate that. So part of this bottle goes to you. I'm going to have to send you one, baby.
Hey, all right. Sounds good. How does one, like, okay, you look around and you're like, there's no vodka that is all pro-American. How does one create a vodka? I legitimately have no fucking clue.
Well, there was a couple things I did simultaneously. Number one, it's funny. As I stood there, I got the concept. I had an idea of what I wanted to do. How to do it was the next part. But I had the theme song. I had the patriotic thing. I took the preamble to the Constitution, "We the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union." I started making one based on vodka. "We the people of American premium vodka, in order to form a more perfect beverage, establish purity and domestic tranquility," that kind of thing. Yep. So I had a mantra. I had an idea where I wanted to go. And the idea was to benefit veterans and to basically, when I was a kid and Jimmy Carter was president, I could run around on my front lawn with a flag and wave it around, and people go by and say, "Oh, there's a proud little American." Today, that little bastard's a far right-wing extremist. You know what I mean? So what the hell happened? How did that happen? This is an effort to correct that. You know what I mean? To put patriotism back in America where it belongs. Like, one of the most patriotic days we had was 9/12.
Yep.
Does it take an event like that on 9/11 to create a 9/12? That's fucking disgusting. We should have that every day. One of our phrases here at American Premium Vodka is, "It's Veterans Day every day." Yeah. Or every day is Veterans Day. And we don't forget how great it is to be American. I mean, it's really, those are strong statements that we truly believe in, and that defines the brand and pays homage to the people that got us here, so that's why we do this. And to do that. So how do you actually go about doing it? Yeah. I had 10 million things going in my head, but I didn't know what bottle I was going to take. I didn't know. The first thing I did, booked flights and started to find what makes great vodka, who had the best vodka in America. And I found it. It was in Idaho. And it was super freaking expensive. I was like, Jesus Christ, made from russet potatoes, like the best you can get, literally the best you can get in America. And I'm like, shit, by the time and mind you, as a new company, to make it price comparable to what else is on the shelf, you got to make some volume. You got to have some coin to really freaking make that happen. Yeah. So I said, holy shit. So I tried to find something that was more price friendly, that mimicked that taste profile, because it was literally 4 times more expensive than what a vodka ought to be. And at the end of the day, it's the consumer that's going to pay the price. So, I wanted it to be accessible. I didn't want to make $1 million vodka that people on our level of street cred couldn't afford. You know what I mean? I want to be able to drink it, and we're doing it for vets, so it should be for veterans and their families primarily. That was the target market, so to speak. So I found something, a funny thing of all places, in Phoenix, Arizona, and the main thing is you can pretty much get anything and have it shipped anywhere. So I found a special blend, and it's made of Midwestern American sweet corn. And it's non-GM, not genetically modified, certified. It's additive and gluten-free. So it's an amazing mix, and made from some of the best stuff that America has to offer, particularly in this price category. In its price category, extraordinarily hard to beat. It's super smooth, and I don't know, I love it. It's starting to really catch on. I've been very, very fortunate over the past couple of years.
So I'm assuming you got to find people that are going to sell it. How far is its reach so far?
Right now we're in 5 states, I believe. We got Arizona, Nevada, Iowa. We just started going to Nebraska and Texas. So there's a bunch going on. Teaming up with a distributor, we have some strong alliances with Hy-Vee supermarkets and Fairway Meat and Grocery out in Iowa. That'll be spread to Nebraska and the surrounding area. I think that we really want to target the Corn Belt as a place to really pursue, being that we're made from Midwestern American sweet corn, the best in the country. And those areas where those supermarkets are our allies, where they have strong representation, that we have a strong presence within the store, capitalize on those assets in those areas, I think, are prime target to really do it the right way. And not to mention, there's a nationalism over there that's second to none. There's some real damn Americans over there, and to make a product from their hard labor and put it in a bottle and have them. I got to tell you, when I go over there, it's like, that's America, man.
Yeah.
That's freaking America. Coming from Jersey, it's like most people don't get to see that dynamic. It's so freaking beautiful. We just sponsored a rodeo out there with Raisin Rank Rodeo. Man, I can't tell you how much fun we had, and everybody going crazy. It was us in Busch Light. I can't tell you, we had the best freaking. It was so beautiful. I was so honored, so honored to be a part of that kind of thing, man. It was a 2-day rodeo. Holy crap, I sweat my ass off. It's so much fun just from working. We were just getting all the arrangements going and having fun and throwing out T-shirts and all kinds of crap. We had so much fun, but people embraced the brand. And that was so beautiful to see, and I'm very fortunate. My business partner, Terry Cook, he's from Iowa, and he showed me the light over there, man. I got to tell you what. And he put a lot of time and effort into doing stuff, and made some real good relationships out there. I can't tell you how thankful I am.
So if you don't live in a place where that's available, can you order it?
Working on that now. Funny thing, when you called, I wasn't really ready to do podcasts quite yet because we got something coming down the line, but it's a little premature. But yes, there will be an opportunity in the very near future to purchase online and have it shipped right to your house. Okay. And there'll be incentives for larger orders as well. But just to let people know, there are 7 states, I believe it's 7, within the U.S. that you cannot ship to. And that's not my fault. That's it's by there's certain states that are control states that prevent internet orders, that kind of thing. So we'll be available in, I don't know, 43 states, including Washington, D.C. as well. So that's coming, but a little premature yet.
Okay. Well, I know there's an American Premium Vodka Facebook page. There's a website, AmericanPremiumVodka.com. Those will be in the description, so I encourage you to go.
Instagram too. Mm-hmm.
And Instagram, so I'll put all that in the description. So, and can I see that bottle again? I just want to see the front of that bottle. That's badass.
Yeah, I got the Constitution back there.
Yeah.
Cool.
Okay.
And I sign every bottle.
Kick ass.
It's all sorted. It's printed.
Right. Okay. All right. So I just want to finish up. I got a couple Trixter questions left. One problem that you seem to have back when you guys were reunited was that you guys weren't playing that much. Like, you wanted to play more, right? And now it seems like they're playing all the time.
I don't know what to tell you, Bob. I really
Sure.
You know what it is? A lot of it was control. They wanted to do it their way.
Yeah.
Well, that's fine. Now they're going to do it. They can do whatever they want. But I think you can see the difference. It's like, look, I'm kind of removed from that, so I really don't even talk about it much anymore. If that's what they want to do, then that's great. I wish happiness to everybody, But one thing I'll say that, the manner in which they went about it, when you put a national act back together, it should be a national act. It shouldn't be just like some weekend warrior thing.
Right.
There was a lot of potential that unfortunately did not come to be. And I think there's a right way of doing things and a wrong way of doing things. And again, those two camps.
Yep.
Pete was the first one to leave the band the second time around.
Okay.
We did a couple of shows as a 3-piece. I think the last show I played, it was the Tobin Performing Arts Center in San Antonio. Again, very strange about San Antonio.
Yeah.
Love San Antonio. Great freaking show. Have friends out there. But for some reason, that's like the end of the line for Gus.
Right.
So Well, yeah, it was a great freaking show. And the Tobin Art Performing Arts Center is beautiful, beautiful venue. But where was I going now? I'm
But
remembering the night.
you
I'm
said
remembering the
Pete
night.
was the first person to leave
Yeah, that last show we played was a three-piece. That was a three-piece.
with Steve singing.
Yeah.
Okay.
I bet PJ did a couple also.
Okay.
They shared the responsibility. But it's very strange because, again, there were two ideologies in the band, and Pete was the one that was a little fed up, I believe.
Okay.
But I was right behind.
Okay. Okay. And it wasn't just a matter of not playing as much as you wanted. I mean, or
It
what?
was part of it, but that wasn't, that wasn't the reason. That wasn't the fun. No.
Okay. Okay. All right. What do you think of Steve and PJ out doing it now and Steve singing?
Like I said, God bless them if they're happy.
Sure.
They could do. Yeah. So
Yep.
that dude, I never wish ill will on anybody.
No.
You know what I mean? If they're happy, great. I just when we were doing it together, I didn't like the way it was being done. I think it did a disservice to the flag. It was a disservice to not just to me, not because I didn't get my way. That wasn't it. The idea was to make it better for everybody.
Yeah.
That the efforts that we make together should benefit everybody. And I don't think they looked at it that way.
Okay. I'm not trying to push, but
That's okay.
what was not benefiting you, or what did you feel like was if you want to go into it?
I'll give you a couple of examples. One thing Pete and I, we said we wanted a manager.
Okay.
Some people would say, let's take a step back. Let's take a step back. We put out that first record, New Audio Machine, right? Did it ourselves, came out freaking great. I had a little extra cash in my pocket during that time. I went to the guys and I said, hey, look, our old PR guy, Chip, from the record company, Chipster Entertainment. What do you say I foot the bill and let's get his marketing efforts on top. Let's really push this sucker. And those guys said, what do you want to do that for? I didn't even care about getting paid back. I just wanted the idea being that if we were going to do something, I believed in it. I'll put my money where my mouth is.
Okay.
They had no interest in possibly sharing that ideology whatsoever.
Okay.
Which to this day, I still can't figure out. I didn't want to set up a payment plan or anything like that. I just felt, I got the coin. I believe in this. Let's freaking do it. What do you want to do that for? I'm still trying to process that statement. Keeping that in mind, moving towards the end of the second run, if we say we want to get a manager, what would you want to get a manager for? And that was one of the questions that one of those guys asked.
Okay.
A manager keeps you playing, gets you a higher rate of pay, gets you playing at a higher rate of frequency, gets you playing in places you haven't played before, blah, 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 you get the idea. It's not that a manager steals a percentage from you. It's that if he's a good manager, he'll increase your worth and carve his own percentage.
Yep.
And make you more money in the process. So if you can't see the value in someone doing that properly, then there's something wrong. So they had one ideology of looking at things where Pete and I had a different ideology.
Okay.
And again, we didn't do it just for our benefit, me, Mark Scott, or Pete Warren.
Yep.
Did it for everybody's goddamn benefit for the flag, for Trixter first, doing it the right way. And if you didn't agree with that, I truly believe there's something wrong with that. You know what I mean? And that's the truth.
Okay.
And I guess there's other little things. And again, I don't want to bring up some of these things, but we're at a point now. If somebody can't let it go, I didn't open the box, but doing discounted rates and things like that and giving away the store, it was wrong. A lot of things were done not for the benefit of the band, not for the longevity of the band. Those guys are playing restaurants and stuff back in Jersey, and they make them a hell of a lot more playing with Trixter. But to discount the rate just because they're going to make more out on the road with Trixter than going home playing for cheap money at a restaurant. It's two separate things. You can't mix that world, but to them it was the same thing.
Okay.
It was just another date on the calendar. So now when you have a national act, my friend, you're really doing yourself a disservice and a disservice to the flag. And I think a lot of people don't really understand that, but I think they're starting to.
Okay. Okay.
That makes sense?
Yep. It completely does.
Anyway, and I hate talking about it. It brings me down. Now I need another drink. Look what you're doing to me.
Hey, you got a bottle right there, shit.
Yeah, I'm gonna drink this bitch too.
And the last thing I'm gonna ask is could you foresee a you guys working things out, or is it like that ship has
I
sailed?
love to, sure, dude. Call me today. Let's we'll jam tonight. I'm in, and it's not even about the money. I just love to. I love the way I feel when I play with these guys, man.
Yeah.
It was always about that. That was number one.
Okay.
But all the other shit got in the way. It's a shame. Shouldn't happen. Shouldn't happen. But that's the truth.
Okay. Okay. Um, I will put all your social medias and your websites for your vodka.
I got to send you the commercial. You got to see I got a 1 minute commercial. Knock you out. It's pretty cool.
Okay, awesome. You also you do have a markgusscottusa.com, right? Is
Correct.
your website? So
That's it.
be in-
MarcusScottUSA.com.
Is there anything that I missed that you're like, dude, I need to tell people about this?
Dude, let me just say this. What you're going to see out of American Premium Vodka in the next 1 year will be very, very substantial. And that's why I felt like we're going to have to talk maybe 6 months from now. Me and you should chat. You're like, now I see why you were waiting.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we got some cool stuff going on. And I can't tell you how proud I am to be representing what we're doing and actually putting America on the shelf. And I think that's really, during this time now, it's a very special time. And I'm very proud of the family I'm involved with here, supporting American veterans.
You have such a strong energy. You are such a positive person. I love your patriotism and your love of the veterans, man. Mark Gus Scott, it has been just an honor talking to you.
Well, it's my honor to serve those who have served, and that means you, brother. That's
Okay.
you.
I will.
I really do appreciate everything, Anthony. Thank you very, very much. It's an honor to be here.
Good.
I grabbed the wrong cigarette. This is the bad one.
We're having a hell of an intro. That's okay. And then my dog's fucking knocking my plug-in out.
Well, you got to stop rubbing peanut butter on your balls there. That's what the fucking problem.
Do you know how often that fucking joke comes up?
You think I don't know? I know, my friend. I know how things work around here.
That's right.
There's a fine line between a motorcycle being sexy and putting your dick in the motorcycle. And I got to tell you something. That was very good advice.